Hello, welcome to the Fanfic Majesty. 1 Puu. 1. Upgraded. Open black lens bracket favorites close black lens bracket. Next chapter. Advertisement. The Grand Line, in the daughter country of the Calm Belt. At this time, in a forest in the south of Daughter's country, a boy who looked about 12 years old was sitting in an open space with a very painful expression on his face. After sleeping and waking up, I actually transmigrated. It's fine to travel to the world of One Piece, but what the hell is the kingdom of daughters? Men are not welcome here, even boys. The boy's name is De. Very handsome and cool name. Originally De should be very excited as a time traveler, but now he is not excited. The main reason is because he has traveled to the daughter country. Don't look at the island as full of women, but they kill people without blinking an eye, okay. After being discovered, De felt that he might be shot to death by thousands of arrows, and Wangguanya had no doubts about this possibility. This is the One Piece world after all. The strong are respected. The weak, you may not even want to be a slave to a woman. Tisk. Grinning, De was a little depressed. Forget it. Don't think too much about it, let's improve your strength first. Only when your strength improves can you have a chance to continue producing on the island. At worst, hide for a while, and then find a way to leave. Muttering, De thought secretly. System. Yes, what is the order of the host? Single quote. Advertisement. A voice slowly sounded in my mind. This is De's cheat as a time traveler. Like all traversers, De naturally has his own cheat, and his cheat is something called an upgraded system. The specific function is unknown, and De doesn't know either. System. Let's briefly introduce the capabilities of the system. De said directly in his heart. Yes. Single quote. The system replied once, and then introduced it. The function of this system is very simple. It provides the number of upgraded times, so that the host can be upgraded in the strongest direction. Of course, this upgraded is not limited to the host. Everything can be upgraded, as long as there are upgraded times. Single quote. How about a metaphor? De pouted. System. Yes, let's use an analogy. Use your left hand for the number of upgraded hosts, and it's possible for the upgraded host to become the Ghost Swordsman's ghost hand in Dungeon and Warriors, mastering ghost energy. The upgraded body may be upgraded to Dragon Ball, Lycian system or other systems. Single quote. Yes, very strong. Hearing this, De was startled. According to the system, so to say. Then this upgraded ability is really amazing. If he really becomes a Saiyan, then when he transforms into a Super Saiyan, he will definitely be the strongest person in the world. Well deserved. After all, Saiyans are capable of destroying planets at will. In view of the fact that the host starts the system for the first time and gets 3 upgraded chances, would you like to use it? Single quote. The system prompts. Let's talk later. Advertisement. Hearing this, De shook his head, intending to think carefully before speaking. The capabilities of this system are promising. Upgraded. According to the system, De felt that he could expand his imagination. According to the system, wouldn't it be possible to upgrade a fruit to become a devil fruit? Take a fox to upgrade, can it be upgraded to 9 Tails Demon Fox? Can an upgraded snake become Yamata no Orochi? Thinking about it this way, it's not impossible at all. Maybe, if you take a door and upgrade it, it may be upgraded to become a gate of time and space, and you can travel through time and space. De grinned, somewhat satisfied with his cheat. After thinking about it, De still asked. System, if I upgrade a devil fruit, can I upgrade it to become a devil fruit? Yes. Single quote. The system replied immediately, and said. It's just a chance, not 100%. Single quote. There is a chance. Hearing this, De's eyes suddenly showed excitement. This is a forest, and the most indispensable thing is fruit. That's right, De just wanted upgraded fruit. Advertisement. You ask why you should use the upgraded times to upgrade the fruit instead of upgrading your own body. After all, the number of upgraded times is currently the only way to become stronger, and the upgraded fruit only has a chance to become a devil fruit, not 100%, while the upgraded body is 100%. It's not as good as an upgraded body. In fact, you are right to think so. But De has her own opinion. First of all, only devil fruit can immediately make oneself stronger. One devil fruit can make a person stronger in just 2 or 3 days, as long as the devil fruit is not too tasteless. Second, the upgraded body, even the upgraded ghost hand, is useless. The ghost aura of the ghost hand is difficult to control, it will take at least 10 days to control it, which is a bit slow. And the Saiyans. De doesn't believe that he can be upgraded to become a Saiyan in 3 chances. Therefore, De prefers to upgrade the fruit. 3 chances. De is willing to gamble. Ask for collection, ask for flowers, ask for rewards. Dragon Boat Festival reading big discount. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. June 22nd to June 24th. Advertisement. 2. Void Swallowing Flame Open Black Lens Bracket for Collection Close Black Lens Bracket. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. There are many fruit trees in the forest, and Dee soon found a fruit tree, which was full of fiery red dragon fruits. Take 2 off. One is directly peeled and eaten, and the other is placed in front of oneself. System. Upgraded the devil fruit in front of me. Dee shouted directly in his heart. Yes. Single quote. The system makes a kaido sound. Immediately afterwards, a purple energy flew out of Dee's body, and attached to the dragon fruit. Dragon fruit suddenly changed. The other side. In a small house in the border area of Daughter Country. A short mother-in-law is worshipping the spiritual tablets in front of her. They are all the former emperors of the Daughter Kingdom. And she is the first 2 emperors of the Daughter Country, Jalan Baihe, and the future mother-in-law. The time is coming, will that prophecy come true? Granny Z muttered, frowning. In the Daughter's Country, there has always been a prophecy. In the near future, a real king will appear and lead the kingdom of daughters to its peak. The king, of course, is a man. The king in this prophecy has a very obvious feature, manipulating black flames. Advertisement. And that was not long after, today. Regarding this prophecy, Granny Yi naturally believed it, but she also had some doubts. Whether the prophecy is true depends on today. In the forest. At this moment, in front of Dee, the dragon fruit is undergoing astonishing changes. The peel begins to be covered with spiral patterns. The color became more bright red, like a flame. This process lasts very short, but a minute. In a minute, a bright red fruit has appeared in front of Dee. The notification tone of the ear system also started to sound. Upgraded successfully. The upgraded dragon fruit is Logia Devil Fruit Mara Fruit, because it is upgraded by system energy, it does not have the disadvantages of devil fruit, and it is not afraid of sea water, etc. Haha, it seems that I succeeded in gambling. Hearing the system notification tone, the corners of Dee's lips twitched, and he laughed excitedly. I didn't expect that the upgraded was really successful. And it's Logia's Mara Fruit, which is Ace's fruit ability in the original book. This fruit is very powerful. There is no doubt about it. The first upgraded gave Dee a big surprise. Without hesitation, Dee immediately picked up the devil fruit, peeled off the peel to reveal the flesh inside, and then bit off the flesh without hesitation. Advertisement. Finish the devil fruit. Dee suddenly felt a surge of energy in his body, and he could control this energy at will. Try it. Dee murmured, and with a thought, a cluster of flames appeared at Dee's fingertips, burning slowly. Not bad. Looking at the flames, Dee nodded in satisfaction. But immediately after, the corners of Dee's mouth curled up, and he said directly in his heart. System, let's upgrade my Mara fruit ability, and use up all the opportunities for 2 upgrades. Dee was rather curious. What will become of Mara fruit upgraded? No matter what you think, it won't be bad, right? Logia Devil Fruit is the world's top ability. Upgraded again, will it break through the boundaries of this world? Not that there is no possibility. Yes. Single quote. The sound of the system sounds. Immediately afterwards, the upgraded system began. Dee, on the other hand, was looking forward to it while eating dragon fruit. The last 2 chances were all used, no matter what, it wouldn't be bad. And since Lady Luck was on his side when he was upgraded for the first time, Dee believes that Lady Luck will still be by his side the second time around. Time passed by every minute and every second. Before I knew it, 3 minutes passed in the blink of an eye. Advertisement. 3 minutes later. Upgraded successfully. Single quote. The system beeps. Immediately afterwards, a berserk force erupted directly from Dee's body, and a terrifying air wave was formed directly. As for Dee, he felt a terrifying energy appearing in his body in an instant. That energy. It is flame. But it is not the color of ordinary flames, but black. Black flames. With the aura of devouring everything, it surged crazily within Dee's body, as if it wanted to devour the world. Dee waved his right hand. The black flame directly appeared in Dee's palm. Immediately afterwards, the air around the flame trembled, as if the air was about to be swallowed. Mara fruit was successfully upgraded to Void Swallowing Flame. Single quote. The system prompt sounded slowly from the ear. Ask for collection, ask for flowers, ask for rewards. 3. I am the king. Open black lens bracket favorites close black lens bracket. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Void Swallowing Flame. Hearing the notification tone, Dee was shocked. Of course he knows what these 4 words represent. This is a powerful strange fire in the world of fights break the sky, and the void-swallowing flame is the second-ranked flame on the list of strange fires. The creatures possess the terror of the ability to devour all things. In the world, only a handful of creatures can resist that kind of devouring power. And those few creatures are still in the Dopo world. In the world of One Piece, De couldn't think of anyone who could resist the swallowing flames of nothingness that devoured everything. The 4 emperors Kaido with the strongest physique. From De's point of view, I'm afraid it won't work either. I didn't expect to be able to obtain such a terrifying flame. De murmured, waved his right hand, and spread his palm. A cluster of black flames appeared in the palm of the hand. It looked as if it might be extinguished at any time, but while the flames were burning, the space was trembling, as if swallowing the space. It was so terrifying. Hey! The palms were clenched into fists, and the flames were extinguished. Advertisement. Immediately the corners of De's mouth curled up. With this flame, it is enough for me to survive in the world of One Piece. But then, De asked the system. System, how do I get the number of upgraded times? Just absorb the energy. Single quote. For example, in this world, only devil fruit has been discovered so far that can absorb and transform into upgraded times, but there are other things that can also be found, but the system has not found it yet. Single quote. Devil fruit. De murmured, with a flash of light in his eyes. Devil fruit has too many disadvantages, mainly because its weaknesses are too obvious. Now that there is an upgraded system, De can think more about devil fruit. Not only can it absorb and transform into upgraded times, but it can also be used for upgraded. Maybe he can get some other powerful abilities, just like his nothingness today. Swallow inflammation. Tat tat tat. Single quote. Suddenly, there was a sound of footsteps not far away. Listening to this voice, there are more than 2 or 3 people. De thought for a while, but didn't turn around to hide, but just stood there and waited. Now with the void-swallowing flame, De is not afraid of Daughter Island. The main reason is that his void-swallowing flame is too scary. And I believe that when the people of Daughter Kingdom see the horror of the void-swallowing flame, they will not be enemies with him. So hello, me, everyone. Soon. Advertisement. The grass not far from De was pulled away. Immediately afterwards, a person ran out immediately and surrounded De. And these people are all women. The most important thing is that each of these women was still wearing very revealing clothes, almost in a 3-point style, which immediately made De touch his nose involuntarily, feeling a little helpless. As expected of a country of daughters, a country full of women, they all dress so boldly. De thought to himself. These women are obviously the guards of the Daughter Kingdom or something. Each of them held a tool made of snakes in their hands, and they all aimed at De with arrows and bows. One of the slim, good-looking women looked at De and frowned. Men, why are you on this island? This is Daughter's Island. Men like you are not welcome. How do I answer this question? De shrugged helplessly. Would you believe me if I said that I drifted to this island by accident? HMPH, do you think I'm a 3-year-old child? The woman suddenly became angry. He waved his hand and shouted. Take it away, capture it and send it to her Lady Queen. Yes. The rest of the women immediately nodded in response, and then moved closer to De. Hey, don't come here, I'll go by myself. With a wave of De's right hand, a cluster of black flames emerged directly in the palm of his hand, exuding ultimate heat. If you really want to come here, you will die. Advertisement. This is. Seeing the flame in De's hands, the leading woman's pupils shrank immediately, and she shouted violently. Everyone stand down, don't be disrespectful to the king. Ah, king. Does our country have a king? The female soldiers around were stunned for a moment, looking at each other, not knowing why. Their country seems to have only a queen, no king. Not only them, even De himself was dumbfounded. Raising his hand, De looked at the woman, then pointed at himself and said in shock. I'm your king. Yes, king. The woman knelt down on one knee and answered respectfully. Dash 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 dash. The new book needs to be cared for. Please support me. Flower collection and evaluation tickets are very important. 4. Acknowledge the king. Open black lens bracket favorites close black lens bracket. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. In an inexplicable state, De was led by the woman into her daughter's country, and finally came to a small house. Soon, a little old woman came out of the room. Why mother? Seeing this old woman, De came to his senses. Are you the king in the prophecy? Grandma Z learned the reason of the incident from the female warrior, and looked at De. Although he looks a little handsome, he doesn't seem to be anything special. How could he be the person in the prophecy? Grandma Z asked strangely, rubbing her chin. Even stranger is Di. What king? What prophecy? Can you tell me about it? Di asked Grandma Z. Although she didn't know what was going on, Di seemed to understand a little bit. It seemed that there was a prophecy in daughter country, and the person in the prophecy he is the king of this daughter country, and he is that person. But mother-in-law Za quickly confirmed his suspicion. Holding a cane, Granny Z said, "There has always been a prophecy circulating in our daughter country. One day, a man will descend on our island and lead the daughter country to its peak. Today is the last day in the prophecy." "Then how do you know that I am that person?" Di asked. "Because the person in this prophecy has a very obvious characteristic." Advertisement. Di was taken aback for a moment. "What characteristics?" "He can control black flames," Granny Z said seriously. "What?" Hearing this, Di was stunned for a moment, and then suddenly remembered his void-swallowing flame, which seemed, it was black. Thinking, Di waved his right hand. A black flame appeared directly in the palm of the hand, and the surrounding temperature rose sharply. The female warriors next to her immediately backed away, looking at the flame in Di's hands with horror. It was less than 1 meter away from Di just now. But with the appearance of this flame, they all seemed to be burned to death at any time. It was too terrifying. And Di himself, as the master of the void-swallowing flame, naturally wouldn't feel this, but he could also guess it from the expressions on the faces of those female warriors. On the contrary, it was the mother-in-law, because she was a little far away from Di, so she didn't feel much. Instead, she stared at the black flame in Di's palm solemnly. "Sure enough, you are the person in the prophecy, the black flame. I have never seen it since I was born, but today, I saw it. That's right, you are the future king of our daughter country." FK. Advertisement. Hearing this, even with Di's mentality, she couldn't help being shocked. "Originally, I thought it would be troublesome for me to travel to the daughter's country, but now, not only is it not troublesome, but I have become the king of the daughter's country all of a sudden. If this is said, I'm afraid I will be envied by men all over the world, right? After all, this is a country of daughters, a country full of women, and he will be the king of this country in the future." After being shocked for a long time, Di came back to his senses. Looking at her mother-in-law, Di couldn't help asking. "Since I'm your king, what about your queen?" "Queen?" Grandma Z smiled and shook her head. "To be honest, I was the queen 2 terms ago, but the current queen died at sea a month ago due to an accident. I had no choice but to accept the position of queen. I originally planned to train a queen of a daughter country, but with your appearance, daughter kingdom no longer needs a queen. Now, daughter kingdom only needs a king, and the king is you." "It's really." There was a wry smile on the corner of Di's mouth. Although he was willing to accept it, it had to be said that this happened very suddenly. It's hard for him to believe it. And at this time, the female warriors next to her heard what Grandma Z said, and they had already recognized the status of King Di. In the kingdom of daughters, whoever can lead them is the king. Now that mother-in-law, the queen, has recognized Di's status, they will naturally recognize it. Advertisement. Immediately, all the female soldiers knelt down on one knee respectfully to Di and shouted respectfully, "See your majesty the king." Seeing this, some civilian women passing by were shocked. "It seems that I am going to be the king," Di murmured, looking at the women who were respectful to him. The corners of his mouth couldn't help but rise. Now that he came and became a king, how could he be unwilling? "Since this is the case, from today onwards, I will be the king of the daughter kingdom. My name is Di. Don't worry, I will definitely lead daughter country to the peak. This is a promise from a man to a woman in a country. Dash 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 dash. Please collect. Ask for flowers. Please reward." Today's 4th update. The author's hands are about to be abolished. 5. The treasury of the daughter country open black lens bracket for collection close black lens bracket. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. In less than a day, Di became the king of the daughter kingdom, and soon everyone in the daughter kingdom knew that there was nothing unconvinced. Some were just curious, and wanted to see the king, because this is the first man in the daughter country. A day passed like this. The next day, Di woke up from the luxurious palace room, opened his eyes and looked around, still a bit unbelievable. But soon Di threw these out of his mind and organized his thoughts. Last night, he specially found Granny Z, and asked some things about what time it is in Pirate World, and then Di knew the time he traveled through under Granny Z's expression of looking at the alien. 5 years after One Piece's death. That is to say, at this time, the plot has not yet started, Shichibukai has not yet been established, and there are not 4 emperors. Overall, it's not bad, and it gives me time to cultivate my influence. Di murmured, the corners of his mouth curled up. Since he promised to lead daughter kingdom to the peak, he will naturally do it. But the way to reach the top is very simple. Either one person is powerful enough to suppress the world, or one has a terrifying force. With Daughter Island's current average strength, it's still too early to reach the peak, but fortunately, DE is not in a hurry when he has time. Boom boom boom. Single quote. There was a knock on the door suddenly, followed by another voice. My lord, breakfast is ready. Advertisement. I see. DE Kaido said, and the people outside the door left immediately. This life is not bad. The corners of DE's mouth curled up, and he sighed, and then got out of bed to get dressed, and after washing up, he came to the front hall, and the dining table was already filled with all kinds of food, meat, vegetarian dishes, fruits, etc., which was very luxurious. Your Majesty the King. In the front hall, there was a row of maids shouting at DE respectfully, all of them were dressed revealingly, and they all looked at the man in front of them curiously. In this regard, DE secretly said, cool, again, and then sat on the chair to eat. A full breakfast. After breakfast, DE sat alone in the room thinking about the future. Since it is decided to lead Daughter Kingdom to the peak, this peak must be the pinnacle of the world, there is no doubt about it. So how to strengthen the average strength of oneself, including the daughter country, is very necessary. The soldiers in Daughter Kingdom know some hockey, which is very good. DE murmured. Daughter country has hockey's teaching method, which DE is very satisfied with. Because hockey is a compulsory course for becoming stronger, at least in the One Piece world. Then the next step is the improvement of personal strength. Advertisement. The fastest way to become stronger is to upgrade through the system, but now the number of upgraded is gone, and devil fruit is needed, which is very troublesome. DE scratched his head depressingly. Devil fruit is a secret treasure in the sea, even if it is worth 100 million berries, it is very likely that you may not get one if you pay 200 to 300 million berries. This kind of thing is priceless. Etc. DE suddenly clenched his fists tightly, and a look of excitement flashed in his eyes. There must be devil fruit in the treasury of Daughter Country, right? Daughter Kingdom is a country that also works part-time as a pirate. Devil fruit definitely has it. DE firmly believes in this. Thinking of this, DE suddenly couldn't sit still, and got up directly to leave the room. There is a maid waiting outside the room, ready to listen to DE's orders at any time. DE pointed to a maid, and said right away, you, take me to the treasury. Yes, my lord the king. The maid nodded and immediately led the way. Turning all the way forward, we soon arrived at the door of a huge warehouse. A door was tightly closed, and there were two female warriors guarding the door. Seeing DE approaching, the two female soldiers shouted respectfully, my lord the king. Advertisement. Well, open the door and let me in. DE said. Yes. The female soldier nodded, then pushed open the door, and the first one walked in without saying a word. Immediately afterwards, a dazzling golden light appeared in front of DE's eyes, and DE was stunned by the scene in front of him. Gold and silver treasures all over the place. Yes, that's it. It has to be said that the national treasury of Daughter Country is very rich, which is also the accumulation of Daughter Country over the years, and it is also the reason why outsiders do not know. If outsiders know that there are so many treasures in the Daughter's country, I am afraid that many people will directly kill her, even if this is calm belt. This world is so simple, everything still depends on strength, only with strong strength can we keep these treasures. Dash 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 dash. Looking for collections, flowers, and rewards, new books need to be cared for, and every evaluation ticket for your collection of flowers is a strong support for the book and the author. 6. Meeting Hancock for the first time. Open black lens bracket. Favorites. Close black lens bracket. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Gold everywhere. But DE didn't care about these things, his eyes kept scanning and searching in the treasury. Soon, his eyes lit up, and he immediately found his target. Sure enough, a look of excitement appeared on DE's face. On a box full of gold in front of his sight, 3 devil fruits were placed on it. The peel had a spiral pattern, which was extremely mysterious. 3, haha, not bad. DE laughed happily, and immediately walked over to hold the 3 devil fruits in his arms, shouting in his heart. System, absorb these 3 devil fruits. Yes. Single quote. The system sounded, and the 3 devil fruits in DE's bosom disappeared immediately, all of them were absorbed. Soon. After absorbing it, get upgraded times, 3 times. Single quote. Yes, 3 more times. Advertisement. DE nodded in satisfaction, turned and left the treasury. With 3 upgraded times, DE also needs to think carefully about how to use these 3 opportunities. Leave the treasury and return to the palace. At this time, DE just came back, and saw that Grandma Z was also coming, as if she was waiting for her. Grandma, what's the matter? DE walked over and asked. When the mother-in-law heard the sound, she turned her head to look at Di. Di, the 9 snake pirates are going to sea today, and you have to go with them too. The 9 snake pirates are naturally the pirates of the daughter country. Every time they go to sea, they buy a lot of supplies, and at the same time rob some merchant ships. Now that Di is the king, he must go. Okay, I see. Di nodded, and immediately got ready, and then came to the shore of the port with Granny Z. My lord king! My lord king! My lord king! Seeing Di, everyone at the port knelt down on one knee and shouted respectfully. Get up. Di nodded, and walked directly onto the pirate ship that was docked. This is a ship towed by the Sea Kings, and it can sail freely on the calm belt. Behind her, Grandma Z stood on the bank and shouted to Di. Hey, Di boy, don't forget to bring me a newspaper. Advertisement. Okay, I got it. Di Kaido, daughter country because it is in the calm belt, the seagulls who deliver newspapers rarely come, so every time I go out, I have to bring some newspapers back to my mother-in-law. I have to say that my mother-in-law is indeed a person who really cares about her daughter's country. Soon, as the warriors from the daughter kingdom boarded the boat one after another, they left with the wave of the islanders and set off towards the Grand Line. Di was walking around on the deck boredly by himself. As a king, Di was naturally very idle, because he had his hands to deal with everything. As a result, Di has nothing to do now but hang out on the deck. But not long after, Di discovered an interesting scene on the deck. It stands to reason that when the 9 snake pirates go to sea, the crew on board must be soldiers from the daughter kingdom, but at this time, there are 3 little girls standing by the side of the boat on the deck, looking at the sea, smiling happily and discussing. This is the ocean, it's so beautiful. Yes, yes, I heard from the big sisters that the sea is so big that they don't know the end. I want to be a fighter like my big sisters when I grow up. Hearing the girls' voices, Di shook his head and smiled, and couldn't help but walk lightly behind the girls, looking at the backs of the 3 girls. How are you all? Di said suddenly. Hearing the voice from behind, the 3 little girls couldn't help turning their heads to look over. When they saw Di, they immediately became excited. Wow, it's His Majesty the King. Hello, my lord the King. Advertisement. My lord, my name is Hancock. The 3 girls were not afraid of Di because of their status as kings, but they were very curious because this was the first time they had seen a man. Hancock, don't be rude to the king. A female warrior shouted immediately. Di smiled and waved her hands. Fine. Turning her head, Di looked at the 3 little girls in front of her, and her eyes fell on the one named Hancock. She looks only 11 or 12 years old, but her small body has already begun to develop. With her white and tender skin and delicate facial features, it can be seen that she will definitely be a beauty embryo when she grows up. Hancock, the future empress. Di murmured in his heart. I didn't expect to meet the future empress so soon. Moreover, it seems that the current empress has not been captured to be a slave to the celestial dragons, Di pondered in her heart. Looks like you have to be careful, don't let Hancock get caught. Now that he has become the emperor of the daughter country, naturally Hancock will not be the same as the original book again. Dash 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 dash. Ask for collection, ask for flowers, ask for rewards, and new books need care and support. 7. The emergence of human traffickers. Open black lens bracket for collection, close black lens bracket. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Hancock was wearing kimono-like clothes, playing with his 2 younger sisters on the deck, but he didn't have the arrogance and disdain for men in the future. Di asked someone to move a recliner on the deck, and then he lay down on it. Call. Basking in the sun comfortably for the first time, proficiently swallowing nothingness for the first time. With a wave of his right hand, black flames emerged in his palm. Now he only has basic control over the void swallowing flame, and he cannot use it as he pleases. He needs constant proficiency, which requires time and battles to improve. As soon as the black flame appeared, it changed its shape in the palm of Di's control. Sometimes like snowflakes. Sometimes it turns into a little black dragon. It is also a delicate shape, the more it takes Di to expend energy to control the swallowing of nothingness. Before I knew it, 2 days passed. The 9 snake pirates are about to arrive at an island closest to 9 Snake Island. The 9 snake pirates usually buy supplies there. After the purchase is completed, they will leave, and then wander around to see if they can meet some merchant ships or able to make them rob. But in a few minutes, an island appeared in Di's sight. Seeing this, Di stood up and instructed the women beside her. You go to buy supplies, I'll do it on the boat. Advertisement. Yes. A female warrior leader nodded immediately. After thinking about it, Di said again. Oh, by the way, don't forget about my mother-in-law's newspaper. My lord king, don't worry, it won't happen. the woman said hastily. Dee felt relieved and continued to lie down. In fact, Dee still really wants to visit the island. After all, after traveling to this world, Dee hasn't seen other places properly yet. But it seems to be a man's intuition, which tells him that something will happen on the boat today. So he intends to stay here. Soon, the pirate ship docks. Because the Nine-Snake pirate ship is a regular customer of this island, it didn't cause any panic. Because there are a lot of materials purchased, the female soldiers are all disembarking and preparing to carry the materials. Only the three sisters Dee and Hancock remained on board. My lord, why don't you go to the island to have a look? Hancock was not at all afraid of Dee's title of king, and asked as he came over. Ah, of course I stayed here to protect you. Dee reached out and pinched Hancock's little face and smiled. HMPH. Hancock immediately waved his small fist. He is very powerful. He will definitely become a qualified fighter when he grows up. I should be the one who protects the king. Haha, how can a man ask a woman to protect him? Dee couldn't help but hugged Hancock in his arms and laughed. Beside him, Hancock's two younger sisters were instantly envious. I envy my sister to be able to sit in the arms of His Majesty the King. But at this moment, Dee frowned suddenly. Advertisement. Because he saw a hook lock suddenly appear on the side of the pirate ship, and then two people climbed up from the side using the hook lock. Hurry up. This is the Nine-Snake Pirates, a country full of women. Whoever is abducted from this pirate group can be sold for a lot of money. That's right, haha, the two murmured, with excited expressions on their faces. But soon, they were stunned. Because they saw Dee on the deck, Hancock in his arms and the two sisters beside him. How is it possible? How could there be a man on this boat? Seeing Dee, one person was suddenly surprised. This is the Nine-Snake Pirates. There will be a man. If you say it, no one in this world will believe it, right? Brother, who are you? Could it be that we belong together? The man looked at Dee and asked tentatively. Ah, hearing this, the corners of Dee's mouth raised, and a cold look flashed across his eyes. One line. Are you human traffickers? Dee said slowly. Hancock in his arms became quiet, and seemed to realize that the two who sneaked into the boat were not good people. How ugly it sounds to be a human trafficker. Among the two people in front of him, one of them rubbed his nose and smiled. We are human traffickers who specialize in helping celestial dragons catch their efforts, which is different from ordinary human traffickers. Advertisement. Is there any difference? Dee said coldly. Really traffickers. Fortunately, his intuition was right, and he didn't leave the ship today. Otherwise, the three Hancock sisters would have been abducted and trafficked just like the original book, and they would be stamped with the shameful mark of dragon's hoof. Brother, don't care if there is any difference. How about it? How about handing over the three little girls next to you to me? The man looked at Dee and said. The other was even more threatening. You must know that we belong to Lord Celestial Dragons, so you don't want to offend Celestial Dragons, do you? Celestial Dragons. The corner of Dee's mouth curled into a look of disdain. He doesn't care about Celestial Dragons. Now that he has become the king of the daughter country, Juju has the obligation to protect the people in the daughter country. Since this trafficker wants to abduct the people in the daughter country, he must be prepared. Preparation for death. Even if it's Celestial Dragons, you two have to die today. Dee said coldly. Dash 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 dash. Ask for collections, flowers, and rewards. New books need to be cared for. Every support from you is the biggest motivation for the author to update. 8. Kill with one move. Open black lens bracket. Favorites. Close black lens bracket. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. P.S. By the way, the author has thought of a lot of animals that can be upgraded, such as the void mantis in LoL, King Kong in CF, etc., but I don't know which ones are upgraded. If you think some games are more powerful and suitable for upgrade, you can leave a message in the book review area. In this way, the author can also spend more time thinking about the plot code instead of looking for information. Dash 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 dash. Two traffickers, one tall and one short. Brother, you don't want to live, do you? The short man looked at Dee's cold face, and suddenly he said coldly, and took out a pistol from his waist with his right hand. Give these three little girls to us obediently. It's better than losing their lives, isn't it? Demon fruit power. Zones. Your Majesty the King. Hancock looked up at Dee, and the tense atmosphere made her a little scared. Don't worry. Dee looked down at Hancock, his cold expression turned into a warm smile. You just watch here, I will deal with all these people. Yes, Hancock trusts the king. Your Majesty the King will definitely be able to defeat the two villains. That's right. The three sisters nodded and stood huddled together behind Dee. And Dee also stood up from the recliner, looking at the two human traffickers with cold eyes. My life, you two can't take it away. Advertisement. Talking. Dee raised her right hand, with her index finger stretched out. There was a sound of whoosh. A black flame was like a bullet, directly ejected from between Dee's fingers, and quickly hit the short man. HMPH, I'm a black bear fruit capable person. Your attack can't even pierce my defense. The tall man said coldly, confident, and quickly stood in front of the short man, ready to block Dee's attack. His black bear fruit made him thick and fleshy, and ordinary bullets couldn't penetrate his skin. This was also his weapon in battle. It is the capital of his self-confidence. But I don't know how to live or die. Dee sneered. In his sight, bullets transformed into black flames flew out, and then slammed into the tall man's chest. But at this time, the tall man had already turned into an animal from the upper body, completely like an orc, and didn't care about Dee's attack at all. But then, what? The moment the tall man hit his chest with black flames, his eyes widened suddenly, almost protruding from his eyeballs, with an expression of disbelief. I saw it on his chest. Advertisement. When the bullet turned into black flame touched his skin, it was like a bullet passing through paper without any hindrance. In the face of the terrifying devouring power of the void-swallowing flame, no matter if it was the tall man's flesh, or the meridians of blood and bones, they were all swallowed up. Even if the flame is just a small bullet. But it kept devouring in the tall man's chest, and a big hole was devoured. The swallowing position is on the left side of the chest. Together with the heart of the tall man, they were all swallowed up. How is it possible? The tall man stared at Dee with an unbelievable expression on his face, a trace of blood spilled from the corner of his mouth, and then his tall body fell directly on the deck. Tightly in just a few seconds. A demon fruit power is directly resolved. Even Zone's fruit ability user will be swallowed in front of the void-devouring flame, no matter how powerful his body is. Damn, how is this possible? Why? Seeing this scene, the short man was completely shocked. As his partner, he is fully aware of the tall man's strength, but he was directly solved by one move. How can this be? He doesn't believe it. Advertisement. But at this moment, the tall man's body was lying beside him, and he had to believe it. Next, it's your turn. Dee said slowly, her voice still cold. No, do not want. Hearing Dee's voice, the short man suddenly became frightened. I work for the celestial dragons. If you kill me, you offend the celestial dragons. You can't kill me. The short man shouted at Dee, drawing out his only life-saving hole card. But Dee didn't care about these things at all. Celestial dragons. Sooner or later he will kill too. But not now. But just when Dee was about to make a move, his eyes rolled, and Dee suddenly remembered something. Looking at the short man, Dee asked directly. Did you know celestial dragons celestial gold? Dash 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 dash. Begging for collection. Begging for flowers. Begging for rewards. The third update. Begging for support. 9. Gold in the sky. Upgraded again open black lens bracket seek collection close black lens bracket. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Celestial gold. Funds dedicated to celestial dragons, and some precious items. The amount is huge. Of course I know. The short man nodded quickly. 3 days later, a ship carrying gold from the sky passed by outside the calm belt on the island of 9 snakes. Oh, hearing this, Dee couldn't help being taken aback. He just asked casually because of the reason he thought of, but he didn't expect that there was actually Tianshengzhen passing by here. If you say that, you won't be afraid that we will rob the heavenly gold. Dee said slowly with the corners of his mouth curled up. No, I won't. The short man shook his head, looked at Dee and said. In the past, Tianshengzhen has always passed by the waters near 9 Snake Island, and has never been robbed. That's it. Dee nodded, understanding in her heart. People who want to come to the Golden Daughter Kingdom in the sky also know it, but they just came here so they don't know. And because he was afraid of the power of the celestial dragons, he never robbed the heavenly gold. That's not okay. Tiantianjin is a rich fortune, maybe there's devil fruit too. Since he passed by here 3 days later, he would not let go of the treasures or precious items that went up in gold that day. Dee smiled and looked down at the short man. You are useless. As he spoke, Dee flicked his index finger. A black flame flew out like a sharp sword, piercing through the short man's head, and a bloody hole suddenly appeared. Advertisement. The short man opened his eyes wide and fell to the ground dead, dying with regret. Not caring about the tall and short corpses, Dee walked to the side of the 3 Hancock sisters and said with a smile. Okay, it's all right. Yeah, Hancock nodded and smiled happily. I secretly said in my heart. I knew that His Majesty the King would protect us. But soon, Hancock couldn't help asking. My lord, what is that heavenly gold? It's gold in the sky. Yi smiled. That's money dedicated to a group of moths called the Celestial Dragons. Borers. Hancock wondered. It's just a moth. Yi thought about the Celestial Dragons, and said calmly. That's a bunch of moths, but I'm going to kill them sooner or later, because the Celestial Dragons are destined to be killed if the Daughter Kingdom is to reach its peak. Oh. The young Hancock didn't understand this, but just nodded, feeling that His Excellency the King seemed to be thinking about something. But soon, Hancock just forgot about these things, and played with his two younger sisters again, and the laughter kept ringing on the boat. Although, there are two corpses next to it. After several hours. When the female soldiers returned, they were shocked when they saw the corpse on the deck, and ran to Yi's side to check Yi's safety. Advertisement. At this, Yi just waved his hand and said, you guys deal with this corpse, and then determine the route of the gold in the sky in 3 days. Gold in the sky. Hearing this, a female soldier was shocked. My lord, do you mean to? That's right. Yi nodded, knowing what the female warrior was thinking. But that's for the Celestial Dragons. The female warrior became worried. And what about the Celestial Dragons? Yi sneered and said to himself. Believe me, even if we steal the gold from the sky, Marine can't do anything to us. Well, okay. The female warrior frowned, and finally nodded helplessly. Anyway, Yi is their king, and the king's orders, no matter what the order is, they have to obey it. After giving orders, Yi returned to the room alone. Shouted in my heart. System, I want to upgrade, the upgraded part. Eyes. Yes. Single quote. The sound of the system suddenly sounded. Advertisement. Immediately afterwards, Yi began to look forward to it. This time he wanted to upgrade. The reason why he chose the place where the upgraded eyes were, was because of the experience of the last time he upgraded the void-swallowing flames, so he was wondering if the upgraded eyes would produce the eternal Mangekyo or Rinnegan Tensei in such pupil surgery. It's not impossible. For Yi, it's nothing more than a gamble. Betting that the upgraded direction can be upgraded in the direction he expects. Exactly. I like to gamble, Yi said slowly in his heart. Dash 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 dash. Asking for collection, asking for flowers, asking for rewards, really, flowers feel so rare, few people give them away, and there are evaluation tickets, please beg. 10. Cyclops. Mangekyo. Open black lens bracket favorites close black lens bracket. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Upgraded to start. Yi felt that his eyes were starting to feel astringent and itchy, as if some kind of change was taking place. Slightly closing his eyes, Yi was looking forward to it. 3 minutes passed in the blink of an eye. Upgraded successfully. Single quote. The voice of the system slowly sounded in his mind. Congratulations to host, both eyes have been upgraded to Cyclops. Single quote. Cyclops. Hearing the sound, Yi couldn't help being taken aback, and immediately felt his eyes were hot, as if they could be activated. Try. With a thought in his heart, Yi immediately tried it, with a thought. Whoosh. A beam of laser light immediately shot out from Yi's eyes, directly attacking the wooden wall of the room, and a deep hole suddenly appeared. This is Cyclops. Yi was a little surprised, the eyes were indeed upgraded successfully, with other abilities, but it was not what he wanted. What he wanted was the ultimate pupil technique in Hokage Ninja, or the magic eye of death, not Cyclops, although it looks powerful, but obviously, it is still far behind the pupil techniques that Yi wanted. System. Continue to be upgraded. Without hesitation, Yi shouted directly in her heart. Yes. Single quote. The system sounds. Advertisement. Immediately. Upgraded to start again. Yi continued to wait, secretly looking forward to it. At this time, on the deck, a female warrior was drawing the route map of Tianshengzhen according to Yi's instructions, because Tianshengzhen would pass by here every time, and since the 9 snake pirates hadn't snatched it, it was transported. The ship of Tianshengzhen relaxed its vigilance, and it has always been transported on the same route, which has not changed. This route is easy to draw. But what the female warrior is worried about is about the celestial dragons. If you really rob the gold from the sky, the celestial dragons will definitely be angry. The female warrior thought to herself while drawing. If the celestial dragons are angry, maybe Admiral will attack us. Will the king be Admiral's opponent? The female warrior was a little worried. But nearby, several other fighters saw the look on the female fighter's face, and one of them couldn't help laughing. Don't worry. Let's draw quickly. It's not a big deal. No matter what, the big deal is to live and die with the king and 9 snakes. That's right. Also, you have to trust His Excellency the King. Okay. Hearing what her teammates said, the female warrior nodded, and immediately figured it out. Yes, the big deal is coexistence and death. But if Yi knew what they were thinking, it would definitely be a little funny. Coexistence and death. It doesn't exist. No matter whether it is Admiral or the Marshal, they will definitely be defeated by me. This is Di's inner thoughts at this time. Advertisement. The reason is that, at this time in the room, the sound of the system in Di's ear has already sounded. Upgraded successfully. Single quote. Congratulations to the host who has both eyes upgraded to Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Single quote. Oh. Hearing this voice, a look of excitement flashed across Di's eyes. Actually upgraded to become Sharingan. And it's also the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, which means that even if he overuses the power of these eyes, he will not lose his light. And the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan ability is also very strong. Has many powerful abilities. The eyes were slightly closed, and Di sensed for a moment, then Di suddenly opened his eyes. There was a hexagram pattern formed by Guyu in the pupils, which was blood red and looked extremely mysterious. And it actually has all the abilities. Di was shocked. In the Hokage ninja world, some Eternal Mangekyo can only have 2 abilities, Susanoo and the like are not counted. It is an exclusive ability like Distinguished Heavenly Gods. Close black lens bracket. But at this time, in Di's eyes, there are all abilities. Tsukuyomi. Advertisement. Susanoo. Amaterasu. Distinguished Heavenly Gods. Kamui. Each of the 5 abilities is very powerful. The authors of Izanagi and Izanami will not be included. Close black lens bracket. Among them, what Di valued the most was the ability of Distinguished Heavenly Gods. Distinguished Heavenly Gods, this ninjutsu is hailed as the strongest illusion, which can make the subject be controlled unconsciously. It can even make people controlled by impure world reincarnation free from the manipulation of the operator. It can be said that it can completely turn good people into bad people into good people, let the living commit suicide, and let the dead people in the dirt be completely free, etc. And this ability has a very fatal weakness, that is, the cooling time is too long, and it takes 10 years to use it once in the original book. But, unexpectedly, in this world, Distinguished Heavenly Gods can be used only once a month. Haha, very good. Di laughed excitedly. A pair of Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan made his strength increase rapidly at this moment. Dash 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 dash. Begging for collection, begging for flowers, begging for rewards, begging. 11. Headquarters Vice Admiral. Akainu open black lens bracket for collection close black lens bracket. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The body is full of powerful power, making Di a little intoxicated. But soon, Di just shook his head and began to master the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan ability. He was also a little curious about Amaterasu Di, wondering which one was stronger, the fire of Amaterasu or the swallowing flame of nothingness. In the end, it turned out that the void swallowing flame was stronger. The reason is very simple, because the void swallowing flame is more domineering and terrifying. Its power lies in swallowing everything. As long as the user is stronger, the power will be stronger, and even space can be swallowed. And Amaterasu cannot. Time passed slowly. The morning after 3 days. My lord, my lord. Early in the morning, when Di was still sleeping, she felt a little heavy on her body, as if someone was pressing on her. When he opened his eyes, he suddenly became helpless. Hancock. Di smiled helplessly, and now that she is familiar with Hancock, this girl is no longer afraid of him, and has been running to her room every morning to wake him up in the past 2 days. Your Majesty, the sun is shining on your ass, it's time for you to get up in bed. Hancock sat on Di's body, frowning and preaching earnestly, as cute as a little teacher. Advertisement. I know. Di shook her head helplessly, and after letting Hancock leave first, Di just got up and got dressed, washed up, went to the dining room to finish breakfast, and then came to the deck. My lord the king. My lord the king. Seeing Di, the female warriors on the deck immediately shouted respectfully. Di smiled and nodded. Immediately afterwards, he asked a female soldier. How long is it until the route to reach the gold in the sky? Report to the king, it is estimated that there is still half an hour. According to the usual time, when we arrive, we will be able to meet the ship that transports the gold from the sky. The female warrior Kaido immediately. Okay, let me know when it's time. Di nodded and said. Yes. The female soldier nodded respectfully. Afterwards, Di came to the deck chair on the deck, sat on it and lay down, basking in the sun, very comfortable. Speaking of which, after returning to Nine Snake Island, it's time to learn hockey. Di murmured in his heart, hockey still has to be learned, after all, it is a way to enhance strength, and facing Logia ability is also very difficult. Help yourself. But these have to wait until returning to Nine Snake Island. There is no rush now. Time passed slowly. Half an hour later. Advertisement. Your Majesty, we have reached the route, and we can see the ship transporting the gold from the sky. It is a warship. It seems. There is also a vice admiral. A female soldier suddenly shouted. Oh. Hearing this, DE suddenly became excited, stood up from the deck chair, walked to the bow, took the binoculars from the female soldier next to her and looked over. Immediately, I saw a warship slowly moving forward not far from there. On the deck of the warship, there is a man in a red suit that attracts attention. Because he is the highest ranking person on the warship. Naval Headquarters Vice Admiral. And this person, DE still knows. It's Akainu. DE was a little surprised, but then he understood. After all, there is still a long time before the plot begins, and it is normal for Akainu not to be promoted to admiral. My lord, that vice admiral is Akainu, vice admiral from Naval Headquarters, Logia's magma demon fruit power. The female warrior next to her introduced. I know. DE nodded and said directly. Come closer. Yes. The female soldier immediately took the order. The 9 snake pirates immediately approached the warship. DE stood at the bow of the boat with excited eyes. Vice Admiral, hey, I haven't played against Vice Admiral yet, it's a good time to try out Vice Admiral's strength. Boom. Single quote. Advertisement. Boom. Single quote. Boom. Single quote. A voice suddenly sounded. The cannons on the warship fired shells and bombarded the 9 snake pirates. Seeing this, DE couldn't help but raise the corner of his mouth, raised his right hand, and started to shoot his middle finger. A streak of black flames shot out like a sharp sword, directly hitting the shells and devouring them, before they even had time to explode. Kindness. On the warship, Sakazuki Vice Admiral, that is, Akainu wrinkled in disapproval, and immediately yelled. Everyone be alert. The visitor is not good. The words fell. Sakazuki's marine cloak dropped directly, and Sakazuki also shook his hands, and hot magma suddenly emerged. Dash 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 dash. Beg for collection, beg for flowers, beg for rewards, new books need care, beg. 12. 2 choices open black lens bracket seek collection close black lens bracket. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Hot magma emerged from Akainu's hands, ready for battle. When the 2 pirate ships approached directly, the distance between them was less than 100 meters. Akainu shouted directly. 9 snakes, what do you want to do? What else can you do? Gold in the sky, of course it's a robbery. DE appeared in Akainu's sight and smiled slowly. Who are you? Seeing DE, Akainu frowned. A man. Why are there men on the 9 snake pirates? And it seems to have a lot of power to speak. Me. The corners of DE's mouth curled up. Let me introduce myself first. My name is DE, the new king of 9 Snake Island. What? Hearing DE's words, Akainu was suddenly surprised, with a look of shock in his eyes. King of Hydra Island. A man. Are you kidding me? Almost in the first half of the Grand Line, many people know that Jew Snake Island absolutely does not welcome men, and now there is a man who becomes the king of Jew Snake Island. It's totally unbelievable to say it. But soon Akainu came back to his senses and said coldly. Whoever you are, if you don't want to be hunted down by Marine Admiral, get the hell out of here. Hey, then I really want to try the feeling of being hunted down by Admiral. D.E. Kaido. Advertisement. The words fell. D.E. shot directly. Looking at the warship in sight and the marine soldiers on the deck, D.E. suddenly thought to himself. Amaterasu. With a shua, a black flame suddenly appeared, and it directly appeared on the soldiers. The same is true for Akainu. Ah, damn it, what is this thing? Quick, jump into the sea. The Marines immediately screamed, the sudden flames caught them off guard, and soon they jumped into the sea. But then, they discovered to their horror that even if they jumped into the sea, they still couldn't extinguish the black flame. Akainu looked at this scene and snorted coldly. He also has black flames on his body. But Akainu deserves to be Vice Admiral. He directly turned the burned part of his body into magma, and then dropped that part from his body into the sea, which is to get rid of the flame of Amaterasu. Immediately afterwards, Akainu roared in a cold voice. If you want to die, I will fulfill you. The dog gnaws the red lotus. Single quote. Advertisement. The voice fell. Akainu's right hand turned into magma, and then formed a dog shape, bombarding towards the 9 Snakes pirate ship with a fiery breath. If this hits the 9 Snakes pirate ship, it is estimated that the pirate ship will disintegrate due to the powerful destructive power and the degree of burning of the magma. De naturally wouldn't see this happening. Spreading his palms, De's palm appeared with nothingness swallowing flames, and then it condensed into a black fireball, which was directly thrown by De, and went towards the dog-nibbing red lotus. Strange flame. Akainu on the warship frowned when he saw De's black flame. The black flame, the ability of not knowing what kind of fruit it is. He had never heard of it. However, the scene that followed shocked him again. I saw the black fireball and the dog-gnawing red lotus colliding with each other, but then, the dog-gnawed red lotus disappeared without a trace. No, to be precise, it was directly swallowed up by the nothingness swallowing flame. How can it be? Seeing this, Akainu was shocked. Although his blow was not full strength, it was easily dealt with like this. How can it be? Advertisement. Who the hell are you? It's impossible for your strength to be unknown in the ocean. Akainu frowned. It doesn't matter who I am. What matters is that from now on, I am the king of Nine Snake Island, De. De Kaido slowly. Immediately, a pair of wings formed by black flames emerged from behind, and De flew directly into the air, looking down at everyone on the warship, including Akainu. Now, I'm giving you two choices. Get out of the warship. I'll let you die. I'll give you all the gold in the sky. Or, all of them will die here. Damn it. Hearing this, Akainu suddenly became angry. That depends on whether you have the strength. As he spoke, Akainu roared angrily. Great eruption. Terrible magma suddenly emerged. Dash 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 dash. Begging for collection, begging for flowers, begging for rewards, begging for support. New books need pampering. 13. Susanoo's suppression open black lens bracket for collection close black lens bracket. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. A huge fist made of magma bombarded directly towards the Nine Snake Pirates. It was extremely terrifying, with a hot breath, and it almost looked like a blood-red sun when you looked up. Go to hell, Akainu roared. However, De had a calm expression on his face, without any panic. Just right, you can use it to try that trick. De murmured, the corners of his mouth raised, and then he swung his right hand and drank directly. Susanoo. Under the astonished eyes of the female warriors on the Nine Snake Pirates and Akainu and others on the warship, a huge skeleton giant suddenly appeared, and the giant was purple, like a demon king. Give me. Destroy. With a roar, De controlled Susanoo, and the huge skeleton giant directly clenched his right hand and punched out, directly meeting the great eruption. The huge fist formed by the magma collided with Susanoo's fist. A wave of air exploded directly and spread towards the surroundings. Destroy me. Advertisement. De roared angrily. Susanoo exerted force again, the strength of his fist increased suddenly, and he actually directly smashed the fist formed by the magma, turning it into magma of different sizes and falling into the sea. Impossible. Akainu's face was shocked, and his full blow was directly smashed. How could he not be shocked? And, what kind of fruit ability is this? Why is it so terrifying? Akainu wondered in amazement. He could control flames and condense a giant skeleton. He had never heard of this devil fruit. The most important thing is that the person in front of him appeared out of thin air, without any information before, but he possessed such powerful power once he appeared. It won't be long before he may be able to become a figure comparable to the four emperors. After all, De is still very young at this time. Now, tell me your choice. De looked calm, looked at Akainu, and said slowly. Go away, or let me kill you all here. The purpose of De is just to get gold that day. If you fight Akainu, if you really fight to the death, it will definitely lead to the destruction of the ship, and the gain will not be worth the loss. Damn it. Hearing De's words, Akainu's face suddenly darkened. His brows were furrowed, obviously a little tangled. He is Marine, or a naval headquarters vice admiral, how can he escape under the power of pirates? What a shame. But if he doesn't leave, he is likely to be buried here. After all, this is the sea, it is inconvenient for him to fight, and he can't use it at all. Advertisement. It seems to have seen Akainu's hesitation. The corners of De's mouth curled up slowly. Susanoo. Inflammation. Single quote. De let out a low snort, and immediately afterwards, Susanoo's body, which was originally just a purple skeleton, suddenly changed. Black flames emerged and began to wrap around Susanoo, forming a suit of armor to cover the skeleton's body. These black flames are naturally nothingness swallowing flames. I saw that Susanoo's appearance changed drastically in less than a minute, completely turning into a demon king in black armor, holding a long sword formed of black flames in his hand. Under the terrifying power of the void-swallowing flame, the sun-like heat radiated around Susanoo, and the air trembled. As if to be devoured. The terrifying power directly shocked everyone's eyes. This is a trick that De just thought of, using the void-swallowing flame to form armor and weapons on the surface of Susanoo. Just try it now. Looking at Akainu, De sneered. Since you don't want to go, then I'll see you off. Saying so, De is directly controlling Susanoo. He raised his huge right hand and waved the long sword formed by the void-swallowing flame in his hand. Advertisement. It seems that the next step is to strike at the warship with a sword. Etc. At this moment, Akainu shouted fiercely with a gloomy face. Stop. Let's go. He is Akainu. Even if he dies, he will die on the battlefield, not in such a place. So he chooses to go. The aura that the giant in black armor gave him was too terrifying. Even if he was far away, he could still feel the fiery aura from the giant, which was really terrifying. Very good. Hearing Akainu's words, Dee suddenly laughed. If that's the case, why don't you get out soon? Do you need me to give you a ride? Dash 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 dash. Ask for collection, ask for flowers, ask for rewards, and ask for support for new books. 14. 5 Devil Fruit Open Black Lens Bracket Collection Close Black Lens Bracket. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Akainu left very aggrieved, and left with his soldiers in a small boat, abandoning the warship. But Dee was deeply imprinted in his mind. Damn it. Roaring angrily in his heart, Akainu looked at Dee in the distance, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. One day, I will catch you with my own hands. ... Okay. Get close to the warship, let's move the heavenly gold onto the ship, and then head back. As Akainu and the others left, Dee immediately waved his hands and shouted, and began to give orders. And those female soldiers also began to carry out the order. One by one, their expressions were filled with excitement. Because they saw the strength of His Majesty the King today, this was enough to make them excited. With that terrifying strength, this was the first time they had seen His Majesty the King make a move, and this move gave them confidence, the confidence to lead the daughter kingdom to become stronger and stronger. Because of this, the female fighters are full of enthusiasm. But after an hour or two, all the gold in the sky on the warship was moved to an empty warehouse on the Nine Snakes pirate ship. Immediately afterwards, Dee shouted loudly. Go back to Nine Snake Island. Advertisement. Yes. The female warriors obeyed the order, and then the Nine Snake pirates headed towards Nine Snake Island, dragged by 2 huge sea kings. Dee, on the other hand, came to the warehouse where the gold in the sky was stored. Just entering the warehouse, Dee couldn't help laughing. Good guy, it's indeed the heavenly gold given to celestial dragons, it's really rich. Dee murmured, with a smile on his lips. At this time, the warehouse was almost full of gold and silver treasures and baileys, as well as various precious items, and even Dee saw several baileys that were rich in Sky Island. What's this? Dee suddenly found a book among the treasures and couldn't help but pick it up. When I opened it, I was immediately surprised. Devil Fruit Illustration. That's right, the book in Dee's hand is a Devil Fruit illustrated book. Dee immediately became interested and opened it to read. It took about 10 minutes for Dee to finish reading the Devil Fruit illustrated book. There are many fruits recorded in this illustrated book, most of which are Zone's devil fruit, and there are many Paramesha and Logias. For now, Eudemon's is the least. And among them, there are still many devil fruits that have not been recorded. It seems that there are still many kinds of devil fruit that haven't appeared in this world. Dee murmured. On the Devil Fruit illustrated book, he also saw many familiar fruits. Frozen fruit, advertisement, lava fruit, thunder fruit and more. These are top fruits. Shaking his head, Dee didn't think about it for the time being, but started looking for devil fruit in the warehouse. After all, the warehouse is full of treasures, even if he wants to find devil fruit, it will take some time. But the sky pays off. After about 10 minutes, Dee finally found the devil fruit put together in a corner. Let me see. Holding the Devil Fruit illustrated book, Dee walked to Devil Fruit and looked at it. He intends to see if there are any powerful devil fruits in it, and if there are any, he will keep them so that he can cultivate some strong ones in the future. There are 5 devil fruits in total. After a few minutes, Dee found the information of these 5 devil fruits. Suddenly his face became weird. Paramesha Sweet Fruit. Zone Snake Fruit Python Form. Advertisement. Zone Snake Fruit Cobra Form. Paramesha Power Fruit. Zone Dog Fruit Wolf Dog Form. There are 5 devil fruits in total, and 3 of them are actually the devil fruits eaten by the 3 Hancock sisters in the original book. I have to say that this is a bit of fate. Think about it carefully. Then Dee put away the 3 devil fruits of the Hancock sisters, and then shouted in her heart. System, absorb these 2 devil fruits. Yes. Single quote. The system sounds. Immediately afterwards, the 2 devil fruits in front of Dee disappeared, and the system's notification sound began to sound. Congratulations to host for increasing the number of upgraded times twice, now there are 3 times for upgraded opportunities. Single quote. 3 times again. Hearing the sound, Dee smiled with satisfaction and murmured. These 3 opportunities, we should wait until we return to Nine Snake Island to think about it. Dash. Ask for collections, ask for flowers, ask for rewards, and ask for care for new books. 15. Return to 9 Snake Island. Open black lens bracket for collection. Close black lens bracket. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Time to blink. A day is gone. Naval Headquarters. Inside the Marshal's office. At this time, after Akainu returned to Naval Headquarters, he reported the situation to Sengoku with a livid face. This can be called a disgrace in the history of his marine, and he was directly beaten and fled. Even if others don't feel it, he still thinks so. But Sengoku, after listening to Akainu's report, pondered. King of 9 Snake Island. I have a headache. Sengoku rubbed his head. When will there be a male king on Snake Island, which is full of women? This is completely shocking, and the main thing is that the king's strength is still very strong. Follow what Akainu said. Black flames. Gather giant skeletons. Could it be a phantom beast fruit ability user? Sengoku murmured. Very likely. Because only you demons can have these abilities, just like Phoenix. But since they robbed the gold from the sky, if they don't send people over there, celestial dragons won't be able to deal with it. Sengoku rubbed his head, and celestial dragons has nothing to do with it. After thinking about it, Sengoku is the way. Well, Akainu, you go down and rest first, I will arrange this matter. Yes. Advertisement. Akainu nodded, then turned and left. Then, Sengoku made a phone call. Have Zephyr Admiral come to my office. After the phone call, Sengoku sent another document to the bounty department. The captain of the 9 Snake Pirates, the king of 9 Snake Island. D.E. Reward. 300 million Baileys. For the first time, a reward of 300 million Baileys was offered, which is very face-saving. The next day, newspapers carrying D.E.'s rewards were immediately distributed all over the world. Everyone in the world started to be shocked. Are you kidding? A man actually became the king of 9 Snake Island. That's a woman's country. What kind of man? He is obviously an underage boy, okay. Do you think that on 9 Snake Island, becoming a king and becoming a man is not a matter of minutes? 2. The world was shocked. But D.E. doesn't know about these things, and if he knows, he won't care. At this time, D.E. has returned to 9 Snake Island. At the same time, he was holding a newspaper in his hand. Advertisement. Be up to date and about yourself. Looking at his bounty in the newspaper and the description of himself robbing the gold from the sky, D.E. couldn't help but twitch his lips. Hey, Marine actually exposed the robbery of Tianshangjian. It seems that they are acting. The gold in the sky was robbed. Generally it is not exposed. But since it was exposed, it obviously means that Marine has made moves to deal with him. I just don't know who will be sent here. D.E. shook his head, a little curious. But soon D.E. just threw these out of his mind. Because he has set foot on 9 Snake Island. The king is back. My Lord King led the 9 Snake Pirates to sea for the first time, and the result must be very rich. Of course. The citizens shouted. D.E. smiled at them, and immediately returned to the palace. As for the materials and other matters, they will be handled by the female soldiers. D.E. doesn't want to waste time on such matters. After returning to the palace, D.E. summoned a maid and ordered. Go and bring the Hancock sisters. Yes. The maid nodded and turned to leave immediately. As the maid left, D.E. took out the 3 devil fruits, the devil fruits of the 3 Hancock sisters. D.E. thought about these 3 devil fruits for a long time, and finally decided to give Hancock and the others to eat them. After all, they belong to them. Soon. Advertisement. The 3 Hancock sisters were brought here. My Lord the King. Seeing D.E., Hancock immediately shouted happily. Kindness. D.E. nodded with a smile, pulled Hancock to the front of the 3 devil fruits, and said slowly. Hancock, do you know what this is? I don't know. Looking at devil fruit, Hancock shook his head doubtfully. It's normal for Hancock, who is still young at this time, to not know about this thing. D.E. began to explain to the 3 sisters what devil fruit is. Finally, the abilities of the 3 fruits were clarified. How is it? Do you want to eat it? D.E. looked at the 3 girls and asked. You can become stronger by eating it. Hancock asked. Of course. D.E. nodded affirmatively. Then I'm going to eat it. Hancock nodded immediately, picked up the sweet fruit and peeled off the peel to eat. Seeing this, the 2 younger sisters immediately picked up the devil fruit and ate it. Begging for collection, begging for flowers, begging for rewards, begging for support. 16. Black arrow open black lens bracket for collection close black lens bracket. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. After eating the devil fruit, the faces of the 3 girls immediately turned ugly, mainly because of the disgusting taste of the devil fruit. D.E. was originally an upgraded devil fruit, so it had no taste. But soon, the nauseating smell dissipated. The 3 girls also became curious about their abilities. But because of their young age, they still can't control the power in their bodies well. Dee understands this, and doesn't care much about it. As long as they eat it, the three sisters will definitely become the same as the original book in the future. But at this moment, the mother-in-law ran over in a hurry with a newspaper in her hand. Dee, you actually robbed the gold from the sky. The mother-in-law looked at Dee and said in shock, if she hadn't read the newspaper, she would not have known about it. Hearing this, Dee shook his head and said with a smile. If you grab it, grab it. What do you mean by grabbing it? It's heavenly gold for celestial dragons. Granny Z said suddenly. Now that you snatch it, maybe Marine is preparing to send Admiral to deal with us right now. Don't worry, mother-in-law. Dee said with a smile. It's just Admiral, I have the confidence to defeat. Besides, do you think Marine will really go to war with us for the so-called heavenly gold? Advertisement. A mocking smile curled up on the corner of Dee's mouth. It's not that I look down on Marine. When they know my strength, they will definitely choose to endure. This is understandable. After all, Marine has many enemies, and there are many places to guard. And Dee can say a word of confidence, without the strength of more than 3 admirals, Marine can't take him down. Yes, Dee has this self-confidence, if he swallows nothingness under his full strength, Admiral will be swallowed alive if he is not careful. And most importantly, does Marine have 3 free admirals right now? No. Yes. Because of Roger's words after his death, the new century is chaotic, and the rest of the world is equally in a state of confusion, requiring Marine to send people to guard it. So Marine doesn't have more than 3 admirals at all, and one is considered pretty good. Hearing this, my mother-in-law was stunned. Looking at Dee, Grandma Z said in astonishment. Can you defeat Admiral? She always thought that if Dee was young and his strength was rear admiral, it would be good. Advertisement. Otherwise, what do you think? Dee smiled slowly, snapped his fingers with a pop, and a cluster of black flames emerged from his fingertips. Why is my mother-in-law? Because she is close. Immediately felt the terrifying devouring power. The flame seemed to be trying to devour everything around her all the time, which made her face change drastically. Now he believed it. Dee really didn't lie, she did have admiral-level strength, and this flame alone was enough. Then what are your plans now? Granny Z asked. She was not an idiot. Since Marine released the news that Tianshengzhen was robbed, she must be dealing with them now. Hearing this, Dee said slowly. Now, I have no plans. But you don't have to worry. Anyway, I'll take care of it when Marine comes. Then, Dee ordered. Grandma, help me send a snake over here, I will be my pet. 9 Snakes Island has a special snake training method, and it is very convenient to train snakes to become one's own combat partners, and there are many snakes on 9 Snakes Island. Kindness. The mother-in-law nodded. Immediately, she didn't care about it anymore, she was old, and the country's affairs would naturally have to be handled by young people, and he saw that Dee had his own views, so he was very relieved. Advertisement. Turning around, my mother-in-law left. The 3 Hancock sisters also left one after another. Not long after, just a few minutes later, a maid came over with a box in her hand. My lord, this is the snake you want. The maid said respectfully, and then opened the box, revealing a small black snake inside. The little snake spit out snake letters and raised its head to look at Dee. The maid said, this snake has the strongest venom on 9 Snakes Island. It is very difficult to tame. Currently, this is the only tame snake on the island. Its name is Black Arrow. Black Arrow. Dee murmured, the corners of his mouth slowly curled up, and an idea came to his mind. Dash 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 dash. Begging for collection, begging for flowers, begging for rewards, begging for support. 17. Satisfied upgraded open black lens bracket seek collection close black lens bracket. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The little snake named Black Arrow didn't bite people because it had been tamed, but lay quietly in the box. Okay, put the box here and leave first. Dee nodded and said. Yes. The maid nodded, put down the box and left slowly. Dee, on the other hand, is considering whether to upgrade Hey Arrow. There are still 3 opportunities to upgrade, but I can consider giving Black Arrow an upgrade, but I don't know what the upgrade will become. The snake upgraded. The first thing Dee thought of was Yamada no Orochi, and then the national emblem of Snake Island, Hydra. These 2 kinds of snakes are terrifying existences that exist in mythology, and Dee is not sure that they will be upgraded to become like that. But maybe it's possible to be upgraded to Jackie Chan. Dee muttered, it's not impossible for a snake to be upgraded to become a dragon, but Dee feels that if a snake is upgraded to become a dragon, the number of upgrades needs to be spent. Not a lot. Forget it, try first and then talk. Dee shook his head and didn't think about it anymore. Every time he is upgraded, it is equivalent to a gamble on whether the direction of the upgraded is what he expected. Coincidentally, he likes to gamble. Advertisement. After 3 upgraded chances, DE quickly decided how to divide. System, give Black Arrow an upgrade, and then give me an upgrade of my physical fitness. Yes. Single quote. The sound of the system sounded slowly. Immediately afterwards, a burst of energy entered Heijian's body, and Heijian closed his eyes immediately, as if falling into a deep sleep. And DE also began to feel the changes in her body. It seems that there is a wave of energy circulating in his body, flowing all over his body. The experience quickly dissipated. After a few minutes, the system's prompt sounded again in his mind. Upgraded successfully. Black Arrow successfully upgraded to Black Water Profound Snake. Single quote. Upgraded successfully. Host's physique has been upgraded to subhuman physique. Single quote. The system sound drops. DE's eyes were shocked. What followed was a surprise. In front of his eyes, the originally small Black Arrow grew a little bigger now, with snake scales all over its body exuding black light, fangs around its mouth appeared, and eyes gleaming coldly. It looked very strange. Advertisement. Black Water Profound Snake. DE had read quite a few novels in his previous life, so he clearly remembered where the black water snake came from. This is an ancient monster from the world of the novel, Zhu Xian, with a lifespan of 10,000 years, and a size that can grow to tens of feet, or even more than 100 feet. One zhong is 3.333 meters long. And the Black Arrow is only about 10 feet now, and it is obviously growing. But this is not the most important. The most important thing is that my physical constitution has been upgraded to become a subhuman physique. Although he has not become a Saiyan physique, but just for now, the Asian physique is also very strong, and he is very satisfied. It can be said that the subhuman physique made him truly immortal. Even if you die, you can be resurrected infinitely. This is a no-limit horror physique. And it can also control a kind of black ghost, which is called IBM, which is invisible to ordinary people and can only be seen when emotional. Black ghost, let me try. DE murmured excitedly, waved his right hand, and immediately, he saw a strange figure with bandages all over his body appeared beside him. This black ghost was a little different, with claw-shaped hands. Yes, from now on, I'll call you Heishi. DE smiled, 1 black arrow and 1 black style, so he decided to start all his subordinates with black letters to avoid trouble. As for Black Arrow, advertisement. Speaking of which, Black Arrow is growing now. According to the plot of the novel, as the Blackwater mysterious snake, Black Arrow may be able to grow to a minimum of 300 meters in length. Now it is only 3 meters. How can it grow? DE was puzzled. But soon it came to mind. Come on. Here, what is the king's order? A maid came in immediately and asked. DE nodded, and said to Heijian. You take him into the forest, let him hunt for himself, and then forget about it. Then, DE turned to look at the Black Arrow. Because it has been systematically upgraded, Black Arrow is very close to DE. DE looked at the Black Arrow and said slowly. I'll let you enter the forest later, you can hunt, grow, and evolve by yourself, and come back to me in 10 days. SS's. Hearing DE's words, Heijian spat out the snake letter and nodded his head to show he understood. Dash 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 dash. This update is late, sorry, please collect, ask for flowers, please reward. 18. Marine strikes open black lens bracket favorites close black lens bracket. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. As the Black Arrow left, DE sat on the sofa and meditated. Currently he still has an upgraded chance. He is considering whether to save this last upgraded opportunity for later use, or to use it now. But if you use it now, what's better about upgraded? DE murmured, her brows were furrowed, and she was very troubled. But at this moment, the sound of the system sounded. Host, the system suggests that you can keep the current number of upgraded times, and wait until the number of times is more to upgrade again. Single quote. Why? DE couldn't help asking. It's very simple, because the more powerful you want to upgrade, the more times you need to upgrade, just like when you upgraded Mera Mera fruit for the first time, you used the upgraded times twice at one time, so the ability of Mera Mera fruit upgraded became Void Swallowing Flame. Single quote. Understood. What you mean is, let me accumulate more upgraded times, and then upgrade at one time, right? DE suddenly understood. Yes. Single quote. But the number of upgraded times is not easy to handle. DE rubbed his head, feeling a little depressed. The upgraded times need to be converted by Devil Fruit, which is the only method known so far, but Devil Fruit is not so easy to get. For now, most of the Devil Fruits are still accumulated in the hands of the world government, and some are in the hands of some big forces. Advertisement. It is undoubtedly much more difficult to find it by yourself or obtain it through the auction house. Host. The system has found a solution. Single quote. The system sounded a reminder. Oh. Hearing this, DE suddenly became energetic and said hastily, "Tell me the story." Yes. Single quote. At present, the system has found a new solution. As long as the host kills demon fruit power, you can also get upgraded times. However, after the death of demon fruit power, the energy on the body is not much. You need to kill 2 capable people to get an upgraded chance. Single quote. In addition, the system in this world has already noticed many things with energy. Single quote. Such as Yangshu Eve of the Fishmen Island, 7-star sword of the evil sword on an island somewhere in the Grand Line, Goosh of first generation, etc. Single quote. Good. Hearing this, DE suddenly became excited. In this case, the chances of getting upgraded times will be much higher. But all of this will have to be discussed in the future. The current goal is to wait until the marine level is over. DE murmured. Marine must have sent someone to Jew Snake Island to deal with him. So even if DE has the idea of leaving 9 Snakes Island now, he definitely can't leave now, at least he has to settle the marine matter. Advertisement. And this time, DE estimated that it will be a few days later. Maybe in a few days, Marine will send someone. All DE needs to do now is to wait quietly. ... Time passed slowly. Unknowingly, 3 days have passed, and DE has been learning hockey on 9 Snake Island during these 3 days. 9 Snake Island has special armament hockey and observation hockey learning methods. So DE wasted no time either. However, hockey is a bit difficult to comprehend, and it is also difficult to learn. It takes some time, and DE only understood the principle of hockey in 3 days. There is still a long time before the initial learning. 3 days later in the morning, DE finished her breakfast and was about to continue learning hockey. But at this moment, a female soldier suddenly ran over and shouted respectfully, "My lord, it's not good. There is a marine coming from 9 Snake Island, and it seems to be directed at us. It's finally here." Hearing this, DE suddenly laughed. Who is the leader on the warship? It's Marine's current admiral, Zephyr. The female warrior immediately Kaido. Zephyr. I didn't expect this old thing to be retired. Advertisement. DE murmured, and immediately said directly, "Let's go and greet these Marines well." Yes. Led by the female warrior, DE came to the beach. At this moment, there were 5 warships parked on the sea not far away, and with his strong eyesight, DE could see clearly a middle-aged man with purple hair on the warship. Zephyr. Current admiral. Obviously, the current Zephyr has not retired yet, which surprised DE a bit. 9 Snake Island. Quickly hand over the criminal DE, otherwise, we will directly sink 9 Snake Island. On the warship, Zephyr's voice sounded directly. Hearing the sound, DE laughed immediately. Sinking. What a big tone. Let me see if you have the ability. Ask for collection, ask for flowers, ask for rewards. The new book begs for support. 19. The battle begins. Open black lens bracket for collection. Close black lens bracket. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Zephyr. At this time, Zephyr did not have a broken arm, nor did he install a mechanical right arm, and the whole person still seemed to be in high spirits. At this time, Marine has a total of 5 warships. The cannons on the warship are all ready, and almost as long as Zephyr gives an order, they will directly fire and bombard Hydra Island. But DE will not watch this happen. Scarlet pupils appeared in the eyes, and the eternal Mangekyo suddenly emerged. DE directly ordered to the female warriors behind her. You can just stay here and guard, do you hear me? Yes. The female soldiers nodded immediately. Immediately afterwards, he became puzzled and looked at DE, not knowing what DE was going to do. At this time, the Mangekyo in DE's eyes was spinning rapidly, and the corners of DE's mouth slowly curled up, whispering to himself. Kamui. Suddenly, the space formed a spiral vortex, directly sucking DE in. This sudden scene directly shocked all the female soldiers. Advertisement. On the warship, behind Zephyr, a soldier suddenly shouted. Zephyr Admiral, the pirate DE who was standing by the sea just now, he suddenly disappeared. What? Hearing this, Zephyr was taken aback for a moment, and then shouted. How is it possible? Keep looking, find out his location and report to me. Keep the change, please. As Zephyr's voice fell, DE's voice sounded slowly. On the deck of the warship, the space trembled for a while, and then a vortex emerged, and DE's figure slowly appeared in front of everyone. This, space ability. Seeing this, Zephyr was startled. The rest of the Marines quickly pointed their guns at DE. The devil fruit you ate actually has space power? Zephyr asked in amazement. Before coming here from Naval Headquarters, Zephyr also knew some of DE's abilities from Sengoku. Gathering huge skeleton giants, but unexpectedly, they still have the ability of space. Zephyr is no small man. As an admiral, he naturally knows what spatial ability represents. Space ability is the weirdest. Just DE's sudden appearance just now. If he is not careful, DE may bet that he can enter Naval Headquarters at any time to create panic. Devil fruit. I didn't eat that. DE pouted. Do you think I'm a 3-year-old child? It's impossible to have this ability without eating devil fruit. Advertisement. Zephyr snorted coldly, and immediately shouted directly. DE, because you robbed the gold in the sky without authorization, now, you have only 2 choices, either follow us and be imprisoned in the big prison under the sea. Or, I'll kill you right here. Oh, hearing this, DE suddenly laughed. Kill me. Do you have this ability? You'll soon know if I have the ability. Zephyr said coldly, and ordered directly. Shot. Bang bang bang. Single quote. Marine, who had been preparing for a long time, pulled the trigger in his hand immediately, and there was a burst of gunshots, and bullets shot directly at DE. Oh, silly trick. DE curled his lips in disdain, and immediately with a wave of his right hand, a black void of swallowing flames emerged. Immediately afterwards, the black flame directly turned into a shield, covering DE. When those bullets hit the shield, they were immediately swallowed up by the void swallowing flame. Is this the horrible black flame Sengoku spoke of? Zephyr stood aside and muttered in his heart, with a look of fear in his eyes. Even a few meters away from DE, he still felt the suffocation from the black flame, as if the flame could take his life away. Advertisement. Terrifying flames. Zephyr commented. But immediately after, Zephyr took off his cloak and roared. But no matter what, this year will definitely win you. After finishing speaking, Zephyr's hands clenched into fists, and above the fists, armament hockey covered, almost covering Zephyr's entire arm. Boy, die for me. Zephyr roared and rushed directly towards DE. Seeing this, DE couldn't help tilting his head to look at Zephyr, the corners of his mouth curled up. Come on, show me your strength, Zephyr Admiral. The voice fell. DE waved directly. A black ghost appeared behind him, and rushed towards Zephyr. The black ghost comes from a subhuman physique, so people can't see it under normal circumstances, and can only see it when they are emotional. Dash 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 dash. Ask for collections, ask for flowers, ask for rewards, new books need care, beg for support. 20. Horrific swallowing flame of nothingness open black lens bracket for collection close black lens bracket. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Before Zephyr could get close to DE, there was a bang, as if someone punched Zephyr directly in the face. Directly blow it back again and again. What's going on? Zephyr came back to his senses and looked forward immediately, but he saw nothing. DE was still standing where he was just now, without any change. But the slight pain on his cheek told him that someone really did attack him just now. Could it be a person with fruit ability? Zephyr guessed in his mind. Stealth. Transparent. But this is impossible, even if it is invisible and transparent, Zephyr can completely feel it through observation hockey. Wrong. Soon, Zephyr thought of it, and fixed his eyes on DE. It's your kid's fault. That's right. DE nodded with a smile. The black ghost's blow just now made him realize that the black ghost can't do any harm to Zephyr, it can only go to disgusting people, and it's not very useful. Of course, it is still possible to deal with some cannon fodder, but it is useless to deal with a powerhouse of Zephyr's level. So DE directly took back the black ghost. Some useless means. Zephyr snorted coldly, and immediately rushed out again. Immediately, he got close to DE. He punched DE fiercely in the face. The power of this punch is not small. You must know that Zephyr is a strong physicist. If the punch hits, DE's head will definitely explode. But will DE get hit? Advertisement. Obviously not. Look at your fist, dare you touch my flame. DE taunted, and immediately waved his hand quickly, and a black flame suddenly emerged, blocking Zephyr's fist. Damn it. Seeing this, Zephyr's face changed suddenly, he almost subconsciously stopped attacking, his body retreated rapidly, staring at the flame with great fear, cold sweat poured out from his forehead incessantly. Just that moment, Zephyr has a feeling, if he hadn't stopped, his entire right arm would have been gone the instant his fist touched the flames. As a Marine Admiral, Zephyr's intuition has saved him many times, so he always trusts his intuition. Because of this, Zephyr is the one who feels the terror. What a terrifying flame. It actually makes me feel deadly. Muttering in his heart, Zephyr frowned, very troubled. Because of the flame, he didn't know how to do it at all. Attack. Can't get close. Do not hit. It's out of the question. And just as Zephyr was struggling, Dee's voice sounded. If you don't come, then I will. Advertisement. The words fell. Dee attacked directly. The eternal Mangekyo appeared in his eyes, followed by a shout. Amaterasu. The black Amaterasu flame suddenly appeared in Dee's line of sight. In front of Dee's line of sight, the Amaterasu fire appeared out of thin air and began to burn, burning on every soldier. Including Zephyr. Damn it. Seeing the flames appearing on his body, Zephyr was startled, and hurriedly wanted to extinguish it. But soon he discovered that the flame could not be extinguished at all. Zephyr, prepare to die. And at this time, Dee's voice sounded again. I saw Dee appearing in front of Zephyr at some point, his right hand clenched into a fist, surrounded by nothingness swallowing flames, and he punched Zephyr. Almost subconsciously, Zephyr raised his right hand in first gear. Ah! Zephyr's screams sounded immediately. I saw that the moment Zephyr's right hand blocked Dee's attack, it also touched the void-swallowing flame on Dee's fist. At that moment, the horror of nothingness devouring flames appeared directly, and a large piece of flesh and blood in Zephyr's arm was almost instantly swallowed, revealing the dense white bones. Advertisement. See this scene. The other soldiers on board were stunned for a moment. Immediately frightened. What kind of terrifying flame is this? It actually has such a terrifying power. But the urgent time left them too late to think about it. And Zephyr also came back to his senses in an instant, and hurriedly withdrew his arm. Then without the slightest hesitation, he roared directly. Everyone, jump ship and escape. When the words fell, Zephyr jumped directly to the side and fell headlong into the sea. Having personally tasted the horror of nothingness swallowing flames, Zephyr has fully understood one thing, that is, to deal with Dia, he must find a way to deal with the black flames. Otherwise, there is no way to fight at all. Is it so easy for you to escape? Dee sneered. Just wave your right hand. Dash 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 dash. Ask for collection, ask for flowers, ask for rewards.